Here's another beginner sort of intermediate shorting strategy. It's a short tech right here. Here's the XLK, and I'm looking at buying put options to short tech. So here's the financial crash so far. We came down, we did a crash. I'm drawing what the S&P did, right? And we did our dead cat bounce, and then we came down, and then we ran up here into our bull trap here. But tech has stayed above the S&P. It's a little bit too high, especially if you look at maybe Dell ran up a little bit yesterday, or AVGO I think ran up a little bit yesterday. There's a couple of stocks inside tech that are still kind of pushing up. Most of tech already kind of topped and turned over back here, but this is still a good short position. And I think what we're looking at here is the next leg down to a bounce at 31 days, and then our third bounce on this cycle. So this is a 31-day credit contraction cycle. So if you come down here to the MACD, you see that this pulls down to the point 31 days, and then we get another 31-day bounce here. So this the MACD will turn over and start turning lighter green, and usually will go into red territory. So this should turn over and go red on this middle bounce, and then it'll cross. It usually crosses. Sometimes it doesn't cross again, but it usually will cross and turn red here on the second bounce, and then it'll go green again, and then come back down red again on the third bounce. So we're looking at a bounce here and a bounce here. That's the general outlook. And here's the short. So we're up here in short territory that I think we're on top of a bull trap right here, looking at an intermediate down. It doesn't look like a huge down leg in the middle here. I think the big down leg will be the third bounce of this one. But here is a beginner strategy for shorting this guy. So if we do here's a month and a month and a month here, and then maybe some craziness, and then we get back to normal kind of over here somewhere. So this is the middle of June here. So here's the idea. What you would want to do to short tech, the safest beginner strategy to short tech right here, is you go into the money, which means you pick a strike price above where the action is happening, and you buy a put out into the middle of June, June 15th or 17th. I think they're on the 17th. And that way, even if you're aiming for this target, that covers the whole rest of the credit contraction cycle and the panic area afterwards, and a little bit more padding. So you're buying an insurance policy out to past the end of this craziness here. And this is in the money, so that means that you're already sort of into the insurance policy. So basically when you buy a put, you're buying an insurance policy, and if it is up here, you bought an insurance policy for no reason, and you lose all of that insurance money that you paid for the policy. But if it crashes, if the car crashes, then you get paid on your insurance policy. That's how a put works. So it's an all-in bet that you're going to go down. So you don't want to take a huge amount of money, and it's on a timeline, right? So this is a small amount of money, and it's an all-in bet with that amount of money that it's going to go down. And it's better if it goes down fast, because the longer this takes, the less valuable this is. So right now you still have, a couple months left on your insurance policy. But if you're over here trying to get down, that's not as valuable because you only have, a couple weeks left on your insurance policy. So you want to buy an insurance policy with padding, and you're looking for it to go down right now. So the timing is really important, both on the length and when it's going to go down. So you want a length with padding, and you want it to go down right now. And then you're not stuck holding this thing until this expiration date. Like once you get down to the point where you want to sell it, you can just trade this put option to somebody else. You just do sell close. So right here you do buy open put, and you pick a strike that's above where you are, and then when you get down here you go sell close put, and it'll automatically pick the same strike price if you just click on your put and say that you want to sell it. But if you don't have a trading app where you can just click on your put option to sell it, you can just go into the put screen in general and you can put in your strike price and your expiration date, and you can just sell it to someone else, and then it'll cancel the one that you have in your account. So that's the basic strategy for shorting tech right here in this model, which this is a 3-month credit contraction bouncing downward model. So if you think this is a good spot to short, this is a beginner strategy for shorting tech. And then a more advanced strategy is that you could go out of the money here, which that is more dangerous, because if you go out of the money below the strike or below where the action is, if your strike price is down here, then that means that you will lose all of your insurance money up here. Like, you have to get down here for it to be worth anything. So that is more dangerous, but it's also a lot cheaper to buy insurance down here at this strike price. So it can be a good strategy. It's more risky, and you also don't have to get, like, you have to get down into this zone by the expiration date for it to be worth anything. But if it just goes down to here and you're still out of the money, you can still trade it to somebody else here at a profit because it's closer to the money. So you don't actually have to get all the way into the money to trade it. You just have to be in the money to exercise it at the end. But hardly ever do you exercise it at the end. Like, sometimes if you're just way wrong and it's just like, woo, goes crazy like this, you just let it expire. And that's why the insurance policy is good, because you can't lose any more money than you started with. The max you can lose is what you started with. So, like, if it shoots up and you're way wrong, you don't lose any more money. So that's why this is sort of safe, because you can't lose more. But you almost will never exercise it. You just trade it to someone else when it gets to the spot where you want to trade it. So that is an intermediate strategy. And then a more advanced strategy, if you get kind of cocky, is to short specific movements. Like, you could buy like this time length and get out of the money on, like, if you got out of the money on like this time length, that would be really aggressive and really risky, and it would pay off big. Like, you would get a big, like, I don't know, 10x return or something on that move if you could get this move with this kind of thing. But that is risky and that is advanced, and that is the short tech strategy here, looking at the XLK for this 3-month credit contraction cycle model that I have scribbled. Please hit the like button. This is not financial advice, and happy trading.